Hey there, Happy New Year, Happy Black History Month, Happy Month of Love. Welcome to Planet Now. This is episode 4. Thanks to everyone who has subscribed, listened to, and shared this podcast. So let's get to part 1 of episode 4. This one is about hair. Yes, Lord, honey, hair. And a couple of women who saw a void and are working to fill it by creating an app. Now, it's called Swivel, and one of their missions is to get folks connected with quality hairstylists. So let's step into this conversation with Swivel co-founders Jennifer Lambert and Jihan Thompson to learn more.
So for us, it was definitely a series of aha moments. We grew up in DC, and then when we left to go to college, we went to different cities. Jenny moved to Boston, I moved to Philadelphia, and then from there we moved again, and then both ultimately ended up in New York City. And each time we moved, we had that same struggle of, okay, who's gonna do my hair? I have to find a hairstylist here. Where do I even begin my search? How do I find someone I can trust? We wear our hair very differently, so we weren't always asking each other for recommendations. We couldn't always ask our friends, and it always felt like a struggle. I think we kind of got to the point where we sat down and said, wait a minute, why is this so hard? Like, why can't we find an easier solution? And when we started to look and sort of see what was available to us, we realized that there wasn't one adequate solution that answered all of our questions in terms of, can this stylist do my hair type and perform the service I'm looking for? And when we couldn't find something that really did that, we decided to create a solution ourselves, and that became Swivel. And that really started from a lot of conversations about how can we make this happen? How can we actually build something that solves our own problems? And so we did.
I was just thinking, as you were saying that, Jihan, sometimes finding a hairstylist is like finding a doctor. You have a list of questions, things that you want in your doctor. And, it's a similar thing when you find a hairstylist. It's like a relationship. You're going to be seeing this person, every week, every couple of weeks. It sounds like that factored into one of the reasons to come up with this product.
Oh, definitely. We actually, when we talk to our customers, many times they will tell us after they move to a new city, so they have a job, they find an apartment, the very next thing they look for is a hairstylist. So it's up there in their top 5 first things they do when they move to a new place. So we know how important that relationship is, especially if they're seeing a stylist multiple times a month, very regularly, like you said. It's important for them to find the right person and build that relationship. So it's an important person for a lot of people, and they're picking that person pretty early on into their search in a new city.
And everybody has their different reasons why they choose a certain stylist. And we really tried to boil it down to those reasons based on our conversations with women. So do you want someone who's close to your house? Do you want someone who's at a certain price point? Do you want someone who just does amazing hair? Do you want to just have a really wonderful pampered experience at the hair salon? And then beyond that, even if you're not new to a city, we found that some people were just going to the same place. They've been living in the same city for 5 or 10 years, but they've been settling for the same experience because they didn't know where else to go. Or people are starting to have different hair care needs, like going natural or growing out your relaxer, or you want to experiment with different styles like braids or faux locks or things like that. And the stylist that you normally go to doesn't cater to those things. So really just trying to give people more variety and, no matter why they're looking, being able to choose based on the factors that are most important to them.
And so how long did it take for you to come up with the idea? This is a product, this is what we're going to create, from conception to the launch. And I think the first launch was in New York, correct?
Correct, yeah. So from coming up with the idea to actually making it a reality, it took about a year plus. Part of the reason it took that long is that we both had full-time jobs when we came up with it. So we were working on it at nights and on the weekends. So finally we launched in August of 2016. And after that, we were able to work on the business full time because it really required our full-time attention. And we were excited about it to really give it the chance it needed to thrive in the world.
And I'll also add, though we had kind of like that year of planning and building, we had a pretty clear vision for what we wanted to create. So once we sort of knew what we were going to do and have this idea of like what Swivel would do, we were creating it for consumers like us. Like we had this problem, we were solving our own pain point. We talked to hundreds of women in New York City who had the same problem. So we knew what we were solving for, and it became really clear to us kind of what we wanted the app to look like and how we wanted people to have this really simple, seamless experience that was delightful to them. And we often hear that from our customers. They're like, oh, going through the app was super easy. Like, we don't try to make it more complicated than it has to be. You want to find your stylist, you want to book your appointment. And we, in our minds, were like, what experience would we want? How would we want this to look and feel? And I think that was a vision we were pretty clear on pretty early on.
So, Jahan and Jennifer are working Swivel full-time these days. Once upon a time, like when they first started Swivel, they both had full-time careers. Nothing to slouch at either, but they made it work. So, before you started working on Swivel full-time, what did your days look like?
So I was a corporate lawyer, so my days varied a lot. Some days I would go in and it would be kind of predictable. I would, draft a few agreements, hop on a couple of conference calls. I was a cybersecurity and privacy lawyer, so some days, I'd come in and a client had a serious data breach and I'd be there around the clock for a few weeks. So my schedule varied a lot.
My schedule was a bit more predictable. I was a magazine editor. I worked at Oprah Magazine for the last 4 years. I was a magazine editor for about 10 years, but worked at Oprah Magazine for the last 4 years before I launched Swivel. And similar to Jenny, it was pretty predictable in my schedule, but then whenever we were closing an issue, so getting ready to send an issue to the printer, my days would be longer. I'd be at the office having later nights, and that would also impact our ability to kind of spend evenings working on Swivel. So while I still had a little bit more of like a set schedule, it definitely had those deadline-driven times that can be a little high stakes.
So Swivel makes no secret of the fact they want to help women with kinky, curly, natural hair find stylists, but that doesn't mean they're excluding folks with other hair types. Hardly. Far from it. Not even, honey. Let's get back to our conversation. Is Swivel specifically for women of color? Is it more about skin color, hair texture? What markets are you catering to?
So for us, it's definitely more about texture. We want to make sure that women that have a coarser, kinkier, curlier hair texture know where to find the right experts for them. That is first and foremost what's most important. And we've had women of all races reach out to us and ask that question, say, can I use this app? And we say, of course, we're happy to help you find the right professional if your hair's super curly and you want to find someone who can cut it, or your hair gets really frizzy and you want to find someone who can help you style it. We get those questions all the time. And for us, we really are about helping every woman look and feel her best. But we did, take a particular interest in women of color because we wanted to make sure they had a solution that works for them. And they were no longer feeling overlooked or treated as an afterthought by the mainstream beauty industry, which we know can happen. And sometimes our pain points and our issues aren't addressed adequately. And we felt like, okay, it's important for us to address that first, but we will of course help everyone.
So Swivel launched in New York in August 2016, and about a year later, in 2017, they launched in the DMV, the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area, and there are more places in the works. More from Jennifer Lambert and Jahan Thompson, co-founders of SWIVEL BEAUTY.
We spent a couple of months in advance really doing our homework on salons. Having grown up in DC, we have a huge network in DC, and a lot of our friends from school also went back to DC. So we had a ton of women to start with, to start asking them who they recommended, and really starting to dive deep into their recommendations and do our research and get those salons on board.
And one thing I'll add to what Jenny said is we're the DMV area. So we have some salons in Northern Virginia, as well as salons in Maryland as well. So, and also DC proper, of course, but we do hit all three tri-state.
Do you plan on expanding to other cities, or do you have a specific city or specific list of cities that you want to target next?
Yeah, we do. So ultimately our goal is to be nationwide and in some key international markets, but we are being strategic and expanding from market by market. We get emails from women every single day from all across the country requesting that we launch there and help them find a stylist where they are. So we hear from women in the San Francisco area, Florida, Charlotte, Boston, just really all over. So city by city, we are coming to take over.
How do you make money off of the app? Is there like a subscription fee for the stylist or the salons to pay?
So we're actually commission based. So we take a commission of every booking placed through the platform.
A quick run through of how easy it is to use.
We really designed it with the goal in mind of making it the easiest possible experience for someone who's looking for a salon. So you just go in, you search for the style you're looking for. We try to be very inclusive. We're not only for natural girls. You can come on there if you're natural, you're looking for a twist out or bantu knots or a natural style. If you're looking for a blowout, if you're looking for braids, if you're looking for color, a relaxer, really you can search from a wide variety of services. Search for your hair type, and then select the city that you're in, and a list of salons and stylists who are equipped to cater to the style that you are looking for will come up, and you just choose one, read reviews, and book. We take you from looking to booking in just a few minutes.
So how do you vet stylists? That's one thing that, folks want to know. We have these stylists, but how do I know that, and of course, no stylist is going to be perfect for every single person, but how can they know that these are stylists that are, of course, they're all licensed, but they're reputable, they have a track record of doing good work and, great customer service? How will folks know?
Well, as I said, our first batch of salons in every city is based on personal recommendations from people that we know personally. So really people who we trust, who we know wouldn't, slouch, go to any scrub salon or stylist. And then beyond that, to the extent that we do our own research or stylists reach out to us, we speak to or meet in person with every single one. We get a good sense of their work history, their reviews, make sure that they are coming highly recommended. And in many cases, I've gotten my hair done at all of these salons myself. So I'd say I've gone to about 60% at least myself of the salons on our platform.
I'll also just add that we have a pretty robust review system on our platforms that allows people that have started to use the app to begin to build and add to the community. And what we do that we hear people really like is that all of the reviews are coded by hair type and which stylist they saw and which service they're reviewing, so that you really know, like, okay, this person has hair similar to mine. I'm going to weight that review probably a little bit more than someone whose hair type is really different from mine. And that, I think, is super important because we're finding that people are really using that information to decide who to see. And it adds another level of credibility and trust to their experience. They can see, like, look, a lot of women with naturally kinky curly hair have gone to this stylist and had a really good experience. I can trust if my hair is naturally kinky and curly that I might have a similar experience. And I think, as you'd mentioned before, every stylist isn't great for every person. And we like to be completely upfront and transparent about that. So that's what helps with having reviews to say, this person's really great at cutting curly hair, or this woman just is really excellent at doing extensions. So finding the right stylist for the service you need is important. And we make that a little bit easier to really parse out when you read our reviews on the platform.
Hey there, it's Liz again. I have a question. What's in a name? Well, in the case of Swivel, it evokes a specific image in my mind. And Jahan and Jennifer talk about how they kind of rotated upon their company name.
So we actually spent a lot of time thinking about what we wanted to call the company and picking the right name that really reflected what we were all about. And somehow I think someone said, like, keep your head on a swivel or something. And then we had this moment where we were like, aha, like that should be the name of our company. And the reason for that is we really are a marketplace. So on the one hand, we make sure that the user finds the right stylist and has a good experience, but we also help hairstylists and salon owners boost their business. So keep their chair filled, bring them new loyal clients that are going to continue to go back to them, which is super important to them, of course. So we really thought about that swivel salon chair and really servicing both sides of the chair, both the user and the customer and the salon owner and the stylist. So it seemed to be like the perfect word to really encapsulate what we do.
What do your weekends look like? Do you spend it working on Swivel? Do you relax a little bit?
Yeah, fortunately there are two of us, so we can say, hey, today I have this plan. Can you be on duty? And, vice versa. So we do work a lot, but we also, make a point to carve out time, especially on the weekends, to spend time with our loved ones and whatnot, nourish relationships.
So when you say on duty, I think on the app there's a text feature where people can, and here's Jihan here. Hi, if you've got any questions before booking, I can help. So is that part of the on duty that you're talking about?
So that's definitely part of it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, fielding those inquiries, making sure everything's going smoothly at all of our appointments, really just stuff like that.
Okay.
And because a lot of appointments happen on Saturdays, we like to make sure that our customers are having good experiences, and then if anything, comes up, we can be there to answer their questions.
So what would happen if a salon got a series of bad reviews? God forbid that happens, but what if it does happen?
So we haven't had that experience yet. So as Jenny said, we really do put a lot of care into vetting our salons and stylists and making sure that people have good experiences. But I think it would work as any other review platform works, making sure that we're talking to the salon and seeing what's going on. We talk to the customer, making sure that if they've had a good experience, no matter what, we always reach out to customers after their appointments to see how things went and really gauge what their experience was like. So that's really what we do. We do a 2-part kind of audit of, let's say, what the experience might be and go from there. But luckily, we haven't had that issue. We haven't had anybody get like a spate of bad reviews that we've had to deal with. So luckily, we have not had that problem.
That was Jennifer Lambert and Jahan Thompson, co-founders of the app Swivel. Swivel Beauty aims to take you from looking for a hairstylist to booking one in just a few minutes. You can learn more about Lambert and Thompson at planetnoun.com, including links to their website and app information. You can also get Planet Noun on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks for listening, and until next time, take care.